IVM.
Hi, everybody. On behalf of the team at IVM Podcast, I have a request for you. We'd really appreciate it if you could go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill out our survey over there. It's going to take a few minutes to do, but it gives us some really interesting information that we can take to advertisers and brands about who's listening to the network. If you're comfortable giving us your email address while you're filling out the survey, we'll enter you into a random drawing where we'll be sending out a bunch of IVM swag to some of our listeners. Last year we sent out coffee mugs, and this year we're hoping to send out much cooler stuff. That's ivmpodcast.com/survey. We really appreciate your help.
Folks, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. I'm your host Anupam Gupta, B50 on Twitter, and this is the Gold Loan Special. Yes, really excited to do this. My guest is Shobhit Bhaskaran, Chief Operating Officer, the Loan at Home product at Muthoot Finance. I am really thrilled to this, for this episode, because till now we've never looked at gold or gold loans on Paisa Vaisa. All this 260, 270 episodes, fourth year running, we've not done even one episode on gold or on gold loans. And guys, I've got the oldest player in this business. A big deal. Come on. And we know how popular gold is in India. We're among the world's largest buyers of gold. And I think I read it somewhere that we possibly have the largest private reserves of gold. Okay, not what the RBI has got, but among us public in India, we might have the largest private reserves of gold in the country. Maybe our guest can give us more insights on that. So let us start this off right now. So, sir, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. Thank you so much for doing this for our listeners. I wanted to start with a brief introduction to Muthoot Finance first, because I'm really, it's a big deal for me to have Muthoot on the show. We're among the oldest NBFCs out there. First, an intro to Muthoot Finance, then an intro to your loan at home product. Let's do it.
Yeah. Thank you, Anupam. Hi. Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah. So your first question about gold and gold loan, and then you asked me about Muthoot Finance. So Muthoot Finance, as some of you already may be aware, we are about 800 years old as an organization, right? The business legacy of Muthoot Finance is about 800 years. And primarily, we are in the business of gold loans. Gold loans is, as the word says, it is lending against gold. Like you said, India is one of the largest consumers of gold, again, among the private holders. And what we do in Muthoot Finance is we help you monetize that gold. When I say monetize, we are not saying we will buy your gold. We are saying that we take your gold as a security and we lend money to you whenever you need. So that is the business of gold loans.
Amazing. So I want to understand gold loans. I'm just very excited because I've never had the idea of a gold loan on my podcast. So just explain to us, basic, absolute basics. What are gold loans? Okay, how do they work? What do I have to do to be eligible to take a gold loan? I mean, for example, do I need a credit score for this, or can I just pick up the phone or reach out on a website and just call up Muthoot and tell them, listen, I've got 1 kilo of gold. Okay. I don't.
Yeah.
But I wish I had. Just walk us through how this entire process works. Okay. And you can talk to us specifically about the loan at home product that you've got. Let's just talk about that product.
Okay. So I'll start off with gold loans. So Anupam, gold loan is just like another personal loan that you normally take. So I am sure most of the listeners and you are aware of what a personal loan is. So when you need money, the money could be for anything. Could be for you to buy land, could be for you to spend at home for a festival, could be for a marriage, could be for anything, right? So you take personal loans from banks. So a gold loan is very, very, very similar to a personal loan. Or I would say a gold loan is another variant of a personal loan. Basically, what happens in a gold loan is you bring the gold and you pledge with me and I give you money. What you do with the money is not my concern. So it's how it is different is, say, if you're taking a home loan, the end proceeds are to buy the house. If you're taking a car loan, the end proceed of that loan is to buy the car. Whereas in a personal loan and a gold loan, the end proceed could be for anything that you want to do. You could be taking a gold loan to buy a bike. You could be taking a gold loan to buy a house, to make the down payment for the house. You could be taking a gold loan to make a down payment for your car. You could be taking a gold loan to pay your kid's fee. It could be anything. Okay. There are people who take gold loans to fund their holidays. Okay, now holidays may not be happening now with the COVID scenario, but we fund people to take a holiday. So,
Very
like I said,
interesting.
the gold loan is actually a cash loan wherein I give you money against the gold and you do whatever you want with it, whatever you please.
Yeah.
That's,
So this actually reminds me or brings up memories of the old Hindi movies. Where you'd have a moneylender sitting there, very evil kind of person. The poor person would go because gold. Actually, the poor people really,
yes,
gold is
yes.
something that is very valuable to them.
Mm,
So I'm trying to picture that scenario, right? Walk us through this,
yeah.
right? Now, let's say that I have maybe 500 grams or 10 grams or whatever. How does the process work? Do I need to have a credit score? How do you value that loan? And how much loan will I get?
Yeah. So I'll come to that. So first, the picture that you said of a very evil person sitting, the money lender, yes, that is where we came into the picture. Now, what we have done is we have kind of organized this market. So gold loan as a business was always existent in India. What we have done or what we have got into is in Muthoot Finance, we have organized this market. We have cut off the customer, or we've tried to save the customer from this excessive rate of interest that the money lender normally charges. An unorganized money lender could do anything with your gold. He could run away for probably run away with it, go sell it off somewhere, and you can't do anything. So what we have done here is we have organized this gold loan business, and we've done it pretty decently. We've been doing gold loans for the last, I think, about more than 100 years now. And what we have done in this span is we have opened up close to 5,500 branches across the country. We've also spread
Wow.
abroad. So every nook and corner of India you go, you will find a Muthoot Finance branch. So there is no way that I run away with your gold. So the first thing I'm giving the customer is the security that, man, I'm here. I'm not running away. Two, I'm not charging you interest like the money lender. Whatever I charge you is in black and white. What I write and give you is what you pay. Three, I give you full value for your gold. So a money lender who's sitting could be duping customers by giving him lesser value for the gold, could not be giving you the best LTV that you could get. A lot of things like that. So this is what we give in Muthoot Finance. Second, you asked me about CIBIL scores and the other
credit scores. Yeah.
credit scores.
General credit scores could be CIBIL, could be Experian, could be whoever.
Yeah. So what happens in a gold loan is we don't check for any of this, right? So the documentation is very simple in a gold loan, wherein we only ask you for an ID proof and an address proof of the customer. The customer or whoever is the person just needs to bring his ID proof and address proof and the gold. So what we are bothered about more is what is the purity of the gold and does the gold actually belong to you? These are the only two things that we check apart from collecting the ID proof and the address proof. So the documentations are simple. It takes us a maximum of 30 minutes to give you the cash. So if you see, like I had told you in the beginning, we compare ourselves to a personal loan, right? A personal loan normally takes you about a week's time. They collect the documents. There is a lot of running around. You give your bank statements, your ID proofs, your address proofs, your pay slips, your own house proof, and a lot of stuff like that. Whereas here, you come in 5 minutes, or I would say in 5 minutes, we complete the documentation work. In about 15, 20 minutes, I complete the valuation of the gold. In another 10 minutes, the money is there in your hand or your bank account, however you want it. And you leave.
Okay. That sounds really quick. So can you tell us both the things that you mentioned which are necessary? One is how do I prove ownership? And two is how do you assess the value of my gold?
Okay. So when I say ownership, I'm not asking you for a proof of ownership. I'm not asking the customers to bring the bills. Yeah. So what we ask the customer, or the 5-minute conversation that we have with the customer, is what we are trying to assess whether he or she is actually in a position to own that gold. Right. So it is like this. Now, if a 22-year-old boy walks into my office and says, "This is my wife's gold," it's going to be a little difficult for me to believe him.
Okay.
Yeah. If he tells me it's his mother's gold, then I would ask him to bring his mother along. Okay. Yeah. But if it is a 35-year-old person who says, who's working in a private limited company somewhere close by, who's earning a salary of say 35,000 rupees a month, he's married, he has kids, I don't have any reason to doubt him after that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is as simple as that. Like I said, I'm not going to ask you to bring the bills of purchase, bring receipts, show me that this, show me pic photos of your wife wearing this gold and all that stuff. Nothing like that happens. So it is just a 5-minute conversation where I try to assess whether he or she is capable to own this gold. That's all.
Okay, so can you explain to us the valuation of the gold part? I mean, how would you know, for example, whether I'm giving you real gold, fake gold? Do you ask me to get a certificate with me, or is your if you've been doing it for 800 years, I'm sure that you can make out real from fake gold. What's the valuation process like?
So the valuation process with us is very simple. So you don't have this jhanjat of running around getting the certifications and all done. Every staff of Muthoot Finance sitting in any of the branch of Muthoot Finance is trained how to value the gold, right? And the valuation of the gold, like I said, takes about 15 minutes depending on the number of ornaments that you bring, right? If there are too many ornaments, probably it'll take about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But if there is only 1 or 2, I will finish the valuation in about 5 minutes. So the valuation happens over the counter in front of the customer. The customer is getting to see what we are doing in terms of the valuation, and it's a very, very simple process. The employees who join Muthoot Finance, I would say on day one, after obviously the induction and what are the processes are informed to them and trained, then there is a 1-week training that we give these people on how to value the gold. So every employee of Muthoot Finance has to go through this training. Sitting in a branch, every employee has gone through this training. Only after that is he placed in a branch, right? So this valuation, like I said, typically when I said 20 minutes, it is my normal average ticket size in Muthoot Finance is about 1 lakh of business, right? So for 1 lakh of gold loan, probably there are 3 or 4 jewelry pieces that the customers brought. So when I said 15-20 minutes, it is for valuing 4 or 5 pieces of gold jewelry. That's the kind of time that these people take. And everything happens in front of the customer, so there is nothing that the customer has to worry about.
Excellent. So, sir, you mentioned LTVs, which is loan to value ratio for our listeners. Let's say that I come to you with jewelry and ornaments worth say 1 lakh. As you said, that's the average ticket size. Let's just stick to that. What would be the value of loan that I would get?
Okay, so the value of the gold depends on the rate of interest. So what happens with us is we have a bouquet of products. So it is not one gold loan scheme that we have. We have, as of now, about 14 or 15 gold loan schemes with us, right? So when the rate of interest is high, obviously you're getting more money to the gold. For the same gold, you get more money. If you're paying a lower rate of interest, the scheme that you select is with a lower rate of interest, then you get lesser money towards the gold. Normally, as per RBI, we cap our LTV to 75% of the value of the gold as on that day. So the gold prices change every day. My lending rates also change every day. Right? So 75% I give you when my rate of interest is on the higher side. So there is slightly lower rate of interest, you will get slightly lesser in terms of LTV. So if the customer is somebody, so like you said, Anupam, if you need 1 lakh of gold and say the jewelry piece that you brought is actually worth 1.5 lakh of gold, but you need only 1 lakh. So then I could give you at a lower rate of interest scheme, wherein the gold, the LTV will be lower. But you needed only 1 lakh. So you get the money that you want at a lower rate of interest.
And interest rates. What would just give us a broad range, what both interest rates and tenure, but what are we looking at? So I have come to you with gold worth 1 lakh, and I get a loan of 75,000. What kind of interest rate would I be paying? What kind of tenure am I looking at?
Okay. So the tenures with us at Muthoot Finance, every gold loan that Muthoot Finance gives is a 12-month loan. Okay. Now you must understand the difference where what I have or what gold loans is from personal loans is, this is not an EMI based loan. This is a bullet payment loan. Okay. So say Anupam, you take 1 lakh from me, okay, as a gold loan. All you have to do is you have to pay the monthly interest. Whatever is the interest component, you need to pay that, right? Whenever you have this 1 lakh back, whenever you get this 1 lakh, you come and pay the entire 1 lakh, take the gold and leave. That's the way gold loans work. Gold loan in Muthoot Finance is a bullet payment system, right? So typically, like I had told you, now I have a lot of customers who come to me to take a gold loan to pay the school fee, right? And that is around the April-May times. So you take a gold loan at that time, you pay the school fee. By around Diwali is when most people get their bonuses, which is about 5 months from there, right? So what you do at that time is you get your bonus, come and pay the money here, take the gold and go. So, okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So this is a bullet payment method, what we call the bullet payment method, and you're just that the interest has to be serviced either monthly or quarterly. This is where my schemes differ. So all loans are for 12 months, right? So the money that you take from me has to be paid back to me within 12 months.
Yeah.
Your interest has to be serviced every month or once in 3 months.
Okay. So let me understand this right. If I and taking our example, and let's assume an interest rate of 12% per year, which is like 1% per month.
Yeah.
So on 1 lakh rupees of a loan, I have to pay you 12,000 for the entire year. So I have to pay you 1,000 per month.
Yes,
assuming
you have to pay me 1,000 rupees per month.
And assuming that I stretches over 12 months, or like you said, after 5 months, if I can pay off the entire loan, I will pay you. I would
pay
have
me the 5,000 rupees interest, which you've been paying
Right.
monthly, and you pay this 1 lakh. So 1 lakh 5 is your net outflow.
Okay, so there's no benefit for me that I pay you off on the interest side if I pay you off within 5 months.
On the interest side, no, there wouldn't be. So there are certain schemes where you get a rebate. Now, if you're closing a loan quickly, there are certain high interest schemes where we give a rebate to the customer. Right? There is a rebate that we give to the customer if he's paying interest every month also.
Okay. But there's no prepayment charge, right? Because
there's no prepayment charge. So I'll tell you. Typically, like I said, all loans of Muthoot Finance are a 1-year loan or a 12-month loan. But our average loan tenure is about 4 months. So most of the loans get closed within 4 months. And there is no pre-closure charges, like you said, that is there. Like I said, what people use gold loans for is for a stopgap arrangement, or like I said, to fill up the bridge funding, if you want to call it. There is a gap that is there. I will give you another example of where the gold loan comes into picture. So what happens is, say, Anupam, you're buying a house, right? So typically what would have happened is a salaried person would have saved up some money to buy a house. Yes. And then he goes for a home loan, right? So the banks normally fund you about 80-85% of the value of the house. The remaining 15 to 20% is what you need to bring from your side to buy a house. So you've brought that. By the time this is over, Anupam, most people are dry in terms of their bank balances. Correct. Because they've put in that 20% there and they've already taken a home loan, right? Now, when you get the house, you need to move in. To move into the house, you need to do interiors. You need to do furnitures. There could be things that you would want to change in the house. Where does this money come from? People come to me for a gold loan. Because one, there is no CIBIL score. I don't check what is Anupam's salary. I don't ask him how much he earns every month. I look at the gold and I give him the money. Right? And for a customer like that, if I'm going to make it an EMI payment, he's already having one home loan EMI, which is new to him. And you know very well, when you take a home loan for the first time, you're not used to this kind of EMI burden. And then you're like, gone. The entire salary, you feel like the entire salary is gone.
Yeah.
We normally say you get one credit SMS from the bank saying your salary has been credited, and then you get one debit SMS saying your salary is gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, home loans really burn a hole.
True. So even though it lasts for 20 years, the major part of the pain is in that first 1 year when you've taken the home loan, because you're not used to this. So at that time, if you take a gold loan to bridge fund whatever is your requirement there, you don't have this monthly EMI pain. You just pay the interest portion. Like I said, if it is 1,000 rupees for a 1 lakh, you just pay that 1,000 rupees. And whenever you get the money, you come and close the loan. Right?
And
now,
take
even
the gold
after
back.
Yeah, take the gold and go back. Now, even after 12 months, although I give you a 12-month loan, even after 12 months, if you don't have the money, you can come to me and pay the interest up to date and renew the loan for the next 12 months. So it is not like on the 12th month, the first day you have to, or the 13th month, the day one, you have to come and take your gold and go. No, you can come and renew the loan again for the next 12 months. Just pay your interest up to date.
Very interesting. So you're effectively saying that gold loans will not affect my credit score at all, because it happens outside the credit score.
So at Muthoot Finance, it does not affect the credit score at all. We don't check the credit score. We don't let it affect
Call
the
for
credit
it
score.
from the you don't call for it from the provider, I guess.
Yes, we don't.
The only thing is that my gold is there with you, and we are very attached to the gold. So obviously, we're going to come back and take the gold back from you, right?
Yeah. So what we'll do is, Anupam, we'll come to this a little later about this attachment part and how this works for us and how this works for the customer.
It's a big question, folks, and we're going to go right into how this gold loan is going to work for you, especially the loan at home product at Muthoot Finance. We're going to talk about all of that on the other side of this break. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. The gold loan special with Shobhit Bhaskaran, COO Loan at Home product at Muthoot Finance. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Once again, just a quick reminder, please do help us out by filling out our survey. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. It really does help us figure out who's listening and, what are the characteristics that we can go and push to advertisers. That is massively helpful to us. Please, please, please do help out with that. So, on the network this week, let me start with a quick milestone. It's the 100th episode of Begin the Journey with Ashish Vidyarthi. Congratulations to Ashish and the team. Great show. If you're not listening to it, he talks to you about just how to approach life. It's just very, very cool stuff. Do check this out. Want to mention the note with Maruk Inayat. She talks about why petrol prices are so high. On the Wired Talk, Siddharth speaks with Harsh Mandar. On Advertising is Dead, Varun speaks to Kabir Biswas, the founder of Dunzo. They have a really interesting conversation about, what's the future of Dunzo and what they're thinking about. On the Traveling Professor's Diaries, check out Siddharth talk about the performance paradox. I found it really fascinating and interesting. I think that you guys will really get something out of listening to that. Please do give that a listen. And finally, let me mention Zindagi Diaries. It's Ragini Kumar's poetry podcast. The first week when it came out, we put out 5 poems first week. We put out another 5 poems this week, and the response has been phenomenal. Do check it out. It's in Hindi. It's a poetry podcast. Something a little different. Do give it a shot and let us know what you think. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
And welcome back to the Gold Loan Special. My guest, Shobhit Bhaskaran, COO Loan at Home product at Muthoot Finance. On the first part of this episode, this really, really special episode, we spoke about how, the concept of a gold loan, how it works, what do you need to do, and all the stuff that is required at a concept level. Now we'll get down to practical level, how you, the listener, can actually take the loan and how it will work for you, and especially the loan at home product. So, sir, welcome back. I need to understand, you've got a very unique product with you, which is called the loan at home product at Muthoot Finance. And this pandemic, we are in our 7th, 8th month, and God alone knows how, how this will progress. You would have seen this pan out in front of you. People whose livelihoods are affected would have come to you to pawn some gold and take some loan. So I want two things, sir. I want you to explain your product to me. What is loan at home? Okay. And what have you seen in this pandemic so far? What trends have you seen of people pledging their gold?
Okay. Anupam, I'll answer this question in 2 parts, right? So loan at home. Now, loan at home is basically, like I had mentioned to you, we have about 5,500 branches of Muthoot Finance across the country, right? See, so anybody who needs a gold loan normally just has to walk out of his house. Normally, we are at a distance of about maximum 5 kilometers from your house. You will find one branch, right? So I'm based out of the city of Bangalore, and normally what I talk here is, say, in every 2 kilometers you'll find a Muthoot Finance branch. So it's not very difficult to find a Muthoot Finance branch, and people just have to walk in with their gold and take the money that they need. That is how we work at Muthoot Finance. Now, what is loan at home? So somewhere last year, around the month of September, is when we were thinking of what is the next to this. Now, we've opened so many branches over a period of so many years. When we're still opening branches, we are not running away from the brick and mortar. I think last month itself, we've opened about 14 new branches. So we are still in the process of opening branches, reaching new places. We're doing that. Apart from that, what? So that is when we said, let's take the branch to the customer's place. So that's where we said, okay, we will do this. The same process that we follow at the branch, let's do this at the customer's place. So what I'm doing here is when I come to the customer's house, nobody in the world is even coming to know that this customer is taking a gold loan, right? I'm giving him that privacy feeling of sitting in comfort of his house and then doing this loan. So nobody is coming to know that you're taking a loan. I come to your place, do the same process that what we do in Muthoot Finance, and the same turnaround time of half an hour, I leave your house with the gold, you get the money, right? So this is what was the concept of loan at home. Now, this, like I said, we planned it around September. We had planned to launch it on 1st of April. The pandemic was, what do I say? Never in the wildest of our dreams did we think of a pandemic coming in. So this probably delayed it, and we launched it by May. Mid of May is when we launched a loan at home facility in 27 towns of India, right?
Wow.
So this had nothing to do with the pandemic when we planned it, but during the pandemic, what we saw is when we launched it on May 20, I told you mid of May, by the time the lockdowns were relaxed and people could start moving. Even though I would have wanted to launch it a little earlier, but I was not allowed to travel outside. So I can't go to a customer's place, nor was the customer allowed to come to my branch. So there was no way I could do anything. So we launched it in the mid of May when things were relaxed and things started moving. We did this. What we are seeing from the customers is much more than, or the acceptance for this is much more than what we had expected. So in the first 2 months or 3 months itself, we have crossed about 100 crores of gold loan disbursement from these 27 towns. And this is without any advertisements. This is only word of mouth right now.
Okay.
In these 27 towns, we have only worked on word of mouth. We have spoken to the customers who walk into our branches. We have asked them for references if they need, if they know somebody who needs a gold loan. And that's the only thing that we've done. And we've already crossed 100 crores last month. I think mid of last month, the beginning of last month, we crossed 100 crores. So that is the kind of acceptance that we're seeing in Loan at Home. So what we have now decided is in this quarter, we will be launching in 28 more towns. So we will be doubling our size in terms of towns in India within this quarter. That is Q3. So from 26 odd towns that we are there right now, we will be moving to 54 by end of December. That's the plan on which we are working. So this is what is a loan at home. So what we do typically is, like I said, we bring the Muthoot Finance branch to your house instead of you walking to our. So what this is given to the customer is there is a lot of convenience. You know, what do I say? The buses are not there on the roads. The auto rickshaws or the auto wallas are not so many on the road. People are scared to come out of the house. The fear is there. So all this is done away with this. So our initial thing was comfort and privacy, but now we are talking about security and health aspects also.
Sure. One interesting thing that I noticed was that, and I've done a few episodes on digital lending, where I guess you don't even have to step out of your house, but that is probably an unsecured loan. You know, you're not giving anything to whoever is giving you a loan. But this was very different. This was Muthoot Finance having a product called Loan at Home, and a representative would actually come all the way to my doorstep, take my gold, value it, and give me a loan. And you said that you've done 100 crore, and this number would have been zero last year, right? So, any trends that you're seeing, any patterns, people more accepting, or people, God forbid, in a desperate state, or anything of that sort, anything that has made the pandemic unique to this?
Okay. Anupam, again here, this word desperate. Okay, now when I talk to people, say somebody who does not know gold loan, normally the word desperate comes up, saying that gold loan is a desperate loan. But what we have been seeing, is, like I said, at Muthoot Finance, my average ticket size is 1 lakh, right? At Loan at Home, currently my average ticket size is 3.5 lakhs.
What?
Somebody who's 3.5 lakhs is my average ticket size of gold loan.
I didn't expect it to be on the higher side. I was waiting for a number of 30,000, 50,000, because people want to be more cautious. 3.5 lakhs.
I know.
That's more. Okay.
Yeah, so this is awakening to us also. So this is where we were like, now these are not desperate people who are taking this 3.5 lakhs of loan, right?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of this attachment of this word desperateness to gold loans, but which is actually not true. Now, I had a customer the other day who took a 80 lakh worth of gold loan. Now, do I call him a desperate customer?
That's a big amount.
Yeah. So this is the kind of customers who are availing a gold loan. So the minimum ticket size in Muthoot Finance for a gold loan is 7,000 rupees, right? 7,000 rupees and upwards you can take a gold loan. Here we're talking about customers who are taking 80, 85 lakhs. And from 7,000 rupees, my average ticket size is 1 lakh. And in Loan at Home, my average ticket size moves up to 3.5 lakhs. So these are the kind of customers who come to us. Now, what has changed during the pandemic in terms of the customer profile is earlier, before the pandemic, I would say most of my customers would be self-employed people, right? About 70-75% of my customers were typically self-employed people. Could be people who are running small businesses, the SENP, or you call them self-employed non-professionals, or could be typically from the real estate background. Yeah. But after the pandemic or during this current scenario, I am seeing a lot more flow of salaried customers. Now, why salaried customers? One, the banks have gone tight on personal loans. The credits have become, like you said, there are a lot of digital players in the market, but all of them have become very tight in terms of lending. They've gone very strict. The profiles, they've become very choosy about the profiles, things like that. So I am seeing a lot more inquiries coming from salaried and I would say Cat A, Cat B type of companies, not the private limited small companies here and there.
That is really fascinating. So, can you tell our listeners how they can avail of the product? I mean, what would they have to do right now? Would they have to go to your website? Is there a number, or how would they, or download an app, or how would the entire process work?
So for Loan at Home, so the cities wherever we are available, it is as simple as you mentioned. Download the app, place a request on the app, and we will call you, fix up the time, and we will come to your place. We also have a toll-free number, 1-800-202-1212. Give a call on that number, and we'll fix up the time and come to your place. It is as simple as that.
Very interesting. And then I guess the process will move forward from there. It will all depend on the amount of gold that is being given and the interest rate. So, folks, you know what to do out here. You can take this forward if you're interested in the product. There is an app that you can download.
The app is Loan at Home, Muthoot Finance Loan at Home, and this can be found on Play Store and iStore. So this is available.
Perfect.
Yeah. And like I said, there is a toll-free number. If certain people are not comfortable dealing with the app, then you can call on the phone number. It's a toll-free number and it can be called anytime.
Okay. So now I have my last two slightly what I would like to call the uncomfortable or the hairy questions. Okay. Because I have to ask it. You have that thing in your head where this works. And I'm sure that you also remember that I think about, 3-4 years ago, a couple of the larger players also were affected by this. So first, what happens when gold prices crash? I mean, I could just say that and then the related question is what happens if I default? Because you would know more than me on this, because I recall probably 3 or 4 years ago when gold prices had actually fallen. You can't say crash because gold prices never crash like, say, the stock market crashes. So tell us about this entire area, this slightly gray area. What, we referred to this in the first part also. How does this entire thing work?
Okay. So actually, you yourself have answered this question in the first part of this program. The gold prices crashing. Now, gold prices, like you had mentioned correctly, don't crash. Gold prices sometimes tend to correct themselves. When the increase is suddenly very steep, then there is a slight plateau that happens, or a slight dip, and then it plateaus from there. So gold prices tend to correct themselves in the market sometimes, right? They don't crash all of a sudden like your stock market falls off suddenly, right? So what happens, or the best part of this business for us is, like you had mentioned in the first part, there is this ornament or this jewelry that I'm taking from you, which I'm keeping in my branch, is got a lot of attachment at home, right? If
Correct.
it is the gold may be bought by the male of the house, but it belongs to the female. So,
okay.
Yeah, it is either your mother or your wife who owns the jewelry, and they are not letting you, dispose the gold or let the gold go just because the prices have fallen. Gold jewelry.
I have yet to hear of anybody, who's told me that he's bent and sold. You're right about that. Nobody. I belong to a certain generation, which probably, I don't know if my listeners are of that same generation, but I know what you're saying. Once you bought gold, you're not going to sell it. You might say that you bought it for investment, but till date, I have not heard any person in my friend circle, family circle, ever selling gold because prices have gone up.
Correct. or prices have gone down also. There's this fear of, oh, it's going to go down further, let me just dispose it off. No, that doesn't happen. That happens in the share market. When it's falling, you're like, okay, let's make whatever I get and I'll see whatever happens later. That doesn't happen with gold. Gold is a lot more sentimental. It has a lot more sentimental value than all the other assets that we normally possess. So like I said, Anupam may want to sell, but his mother or his wife is not going to allow him to sell. Anupam may want to leave the gold, abandon the gold because the prices have fallen. Anupam will not be able to go back home after that. So
very interesting. Okay.
That way, I have this protection, or what do I say, a safety net, even if the prices correct themselves slightly, or say you're in the worst of your time. So what I've seen normally is people come after 12 months, they're not able to pay the loan. They manage the interest part and they renew the loan again. This is what happens typically.
Okay. So what are the default rates? Just for my knowledge.
The default of gold loans, or the NPAs that I talk about?
Whatever you call it. No, not the NPAs, but I'm saying on average, if 100 people take a gold loan from you, in your experience, do all of them repay, or 99 repay, or
I would say 99.5 repay. Might be there is a 0.5 of something going wrong. 0.5 is on the higher side again. Okay.
Wow. Okay. And last two questions, sir. This I asked because I've been very lucky to get some NRIs also listening into the show. Anything for the NRIs out here, sir?
So in terms of gold loans, we don't currently, the RBI doesn't permit us to. So we don't currently service the NRIs. But if they have a relative here and the gold is being pledged by them, I'm no one to stop them.
Sure. Okay. And final question, sir. A lot of my listeners are young. Maybe, who knows, maybe they would have got gold as a gift, or maybe they bought it themselves. Can you tell us the utility of a gold loan? Why it is an option that they should consider, from your point of view? Because I don't know this current generation and how they're, how they think, whether they prefer to use a credit card for spending, or whether they want to do digital lending, or whether X, Y, Z, whatever they want. But I'm saying, from your perspective, what would be your argument in favor of a gold loan from the utility point of view?
Yeah. So I'll give you this in points. So point one will be the ease with which you get the money here, right? Maybe your credit card is slightly comparable to me when it comes to the ease. Where, say you're buying a telephone, you're buying a new mobile, a Samsung Note 10 or whichever, the high-end new phones that is there, for which you will have to spend about 50, 60 grand at least. Now, the options that are available in front of you is credit card, personal loan, or the first option would be your savings, if there are. Otherwise, it's a credit card or a personal loan or a gold loan, right? So the credit card, in terms of ease of usage, will be comparable with me, because a personal loan will typically take you about 4 or 5 days before you come to know whether you will get the personal loan or no. So only after 4 or 5 days of processing, or 3 or 4 days of processing, will you actually come to know whether you're going to get the loan. Whereas a credit card and a gold loan is over the counter, as good as over the counter. It works. I give the money in half an hour. The credit card, you can go to the shop and swipe your card, right? But now it's the next part to it. How much are you willing to pay for this? The rate of interest that a credit card will charge you, and the rate of interest that a gold loan from Muthoot Finance will be. I would say we will be at half the cost of the interest rates would be at 50% of what, sometimes even lesser than 50%.
Lesser than that, because credit card is what, 3% a month. And even if I assume you're at 12% a month, you're 1% per month. That's 12%.
Correct. So we typically the advertisements that come out is a 99 paisa scheme. So 99 paisa basically means 1.99% per month.
Wow.
Yeah. So in terms of rate of interest is where the credit card cannot be compared with. And the third thing with me or the gold loan is, like I had mentioned earlier, you don't have to bother about EMIs. You pay how much ever you have. How much ever you save this month, you pay that. So we will take the interest part, the remaining towards principal. So your loan reduces to that extent. So if you've taken a 1 lakh loan and you want to pay, instead of 1,000 rupees a month, you want to pay 4,000 this month. Next month, your loan is only 97,000 rupees. So you pay interest only for 970 rupees.
Very interesting. Of course, if you're Then there is the whole thing of how attached you are to gold. But as Mr. Bhaskaran has told us throughout this show, more people are willing to do it. Some very interesting data on the ticket size of the loan at home product. So that's a wrap on our show. How can our listeners reach out to you? The website, the app, and everything?
So the website is loanathome.com. The app, like I had said, Muthoot Finance Loan at Home. And we also have the phone number, which is the toll-free number, 1-800-202-1212.
Excellent.
These are the 3 ways you can contact us.
Sure. So thank you so much for doing this for our listeners. Sir.
Thank you, Anupam. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody.
Sure. Folks, and that is a wrap on this very special gold loan special. My guest, Shobhit Bhaskaran, COO Loan at Home product at Muthoot Finance. I hope that you've learned a lot. I certainly did. And if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on IBM Network. You can listen to us on the IBM Podcast app or ibmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are IBM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I'm P50 on Twitter. And thank you so much for listening to Paisa Vaisa.
No material on the show should be considered as financial advice. The material on the show is for informational purposes only. Please consult a financial advisor before taking any investment decision.
Do you wonder what goes inside the mind of an achiever? How do they manage to get back up on their feet in spite of their failures? Do they really do something different? You're absolutely right. Yes, they do. I'm Aditi Surana. Join me every Wednesday and Friday on my show Absolutely Right, where I use my special tool of handwriting analysis, also known as graphology, to interview high performers and study secrets behind their success and personality. You can catch us on the IBM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcast from.
Namaskar, dear friends. My name is Ashish Vidyarthi. Life, as you know, is a journey. And you and I, travelers, how can we celebrate this travel? I have a podcast for you. Begin the journey. I share stories and moments from my life. Do tune in every Monday and Thursday to listen to my podcast on the IBM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from. Cheers.